Hello everybody, it's me Ghost Bunny, and today we're going to be reading Case File Compendium. We're currently now on chapter 7. And yes, let me just hop into reading, but before we just hop in, I would like to say that my typical disclaimers is that 1, I have no affiliations with 7 Seas or with Meat Bun. This is just us reading for the funsies. I don't think there's an official audiobook for this book, pero if there is, I'm pretty sure there is. There's a high chance there is. Pero yes. Also, I am not a native Chinese speaker, so there is a high chance that I may mispronounce words, names of people or places. It's not me trying to make a mockery or joke of the Chinese language. I just happen to not speak it. And número tres, even though I do speak English, when it comes to reading, sometimes I feel like it doesn't fully translate well. Pero yes, we're gonna be starting reading chapter 7. Last time we were here, we were on a date that wasn't really going all that well because I remember a certain somebody getting on my last nerve because she was all about the money, and yada yada yada, and being a little bit too annoying. Pero let us begin. Also, I don't know if you guys realize, but I actually started using his name instead of just calling him the Good Doctor. Although I may slip back into calling him the Good Doctor because I still have no confidence in how I'm actually saying his name. Pero yes, let's go. Chapter 7. He asked me about my driving skills. Interesting chapter name. Let's. As a former doctor, Xie Qingcheng acted without hesitation. He flung Bai Jing away and bent down to check the old man's condition. In clinical medicine, an acute myocardial a heart attack or a severe heart attack, just say that, was a cardiovascular emergency with an extremely high mortality rate. A sudden onset of intense emotion was one of the major triggers of the condition in elderly people. Bai Jing, who hadn't realized what was going on, was still busy cursing at him. Cheng Chen rolled up his sleeves to begin administering first aid. He turned back and snapped at her. Don't just stand there and stare. The patient is having a severe heart attack. Call an ambulance. Hurry up. What does a severe heart attack have to do with a severe heart attack? Bai Jing, dumbstruck. Her glittery golden eyeliner only emphasized the shock and fear in her eyes. The color of the girl's face drained instantly. She stood frozen like a dazed goose, not knowing whether to advance or retreat. Don't you know the emergency service number? Chen snapped. Bai Jing might have known it at one point, but with the situation evolving so quickly, she drew nothing but a blank. What is it? 120. Oh! Bai Jing didn't expect that things would turn out like this with a precious human life in danger. She hastily picked the phone that Xie Cheng had tossed back to her and dialed the emergency number. Hello? 1110? No. Don't hang up. I misspoke. I don't want to call the police. I was calling your number. There's an old man out here who has a severe fainting attack. Oh no, this was a severe heart failure. Severe heart attack. Yes, it's a heart attack. After stammering her way through the call, Bai Jing left out a breath and managed to collect herself a bit. However, she was still too afraid to get close to Xie Cheng and the old homeless man. Xie Cheng whipped away the secretion from the old man's mouth and nose, and carefully laid him down flat so that he wouldn't choke. His forehead was already dripping with sweat when he looked up at Bai Jing and said, "Come help." "No way!" Bai Jing immediately retorted. "It's so disgusting. Who knows if he has AIDS or some other contagious disease? And my clothes are very expensive. They'll be ruined if I get them dirty." Chen Chen was furious. AIDS? AIDS isn't transmitted like that. What's more important, your clothes or someone's life? Come here and help. Absolutely not. Is this emotional blackmail? Do you know how long it took me work to buy an outfit like this? How long I had to wait? Besides, he must have some underlying condition that's just acting up, so it wasn't my fault. With a cry, the old man spat out another mouthful of white foam. Bai Jing's throat tightened as the sight, and she nearly retched. She retreated, taking one step after another backwards. Don't force me, I can't! Luckily, an older woman ran out from the circle of observers at that moment. Little girl, do you have a conscience? She yelled at Bai Jing. You'll grow old too one day. You are dressed in such flashy, glamorous clothes, and yet your heart is so rotten. I. Bai Jing started. The older woman rolled her eyes, ignoring her, then turned to Xie Cheng. Tell me what to do. I'll help. This was a classic example of herd mentality. When a crowd quietly watches from afar, no one is willing to take the initiative to step forward and help. But once a single person breaks from the crowd to lend a hand, others emerge like spring shoots after a rain. Soon, those who had been observing from a distance and afraid of getting involved started to inch closer. People appeared offering to look around for a pharmacy to buy emergency medication and waving fans to cool them down, and Bai Jing found herself forcefully pushed to the side. However, no matter how enthusiastic the crowd, they couldn't resolve the urgent matter at hand. They could only anxiously wait as the minutes ticked by. Alas, things didn't go so smoothly. Right as the juncture Bai Jing's phone rang, it was a call from the hospital. There's been a very unfortunate situation. A surface collapse broke a water main. The main highway to your current location is flooded, and there's no way for an ambulance to get through. There's another path through local streets, but we can't get in at all. There's too much traffic, and it's also the wrong way up a one-way street, so we have to turn around. Bai Jing reported the situation to Xie Cheng, who was still administering first aid to the old man. How much longer? Xie Cheng asked sharply. This time, Bai Jing was cowed this time Beijing was cold. She hurriedly conveyed the question. How much longer will it take? We have to take another route. It'll be at least 30 minutes. Chen Chen looked at the old man's situation. 30 minutes would be the difference between life and death. How were they so unlucky that something went awry right now? And for a broken water main to flood a whole major highway. He was still at a loss as to what to do when two glaring headlights suddenly flashed from the intersection. A black Rolls Royce, calling adorned with a little winged hood or ornaments cruised slightly under the glow of the street lamps. The car glided right over the corner of the one-way street where the incident was unfolding, its rectangular tail lights calmly illuminating the surroundings. Bai Jing's instinct to scream about all these things luxurious, even at the critical juncture when someone's life was on the line, was difficult to temper. She barely repressed her urge to raise her phone and aim it at the Colinan for fear that if she were a second too late, it would drive off and disappear. But she never could have anticipated that the Colinan would actually slowly make its way over to them and come to a stop. Biting's eyes widened at the incredulous events unfolding. Her pupils only contracted even further as she watched the rear window of the luxury car of her dreams silently roll down. A young woman poked her head out and shouted to Xie Cheng, also was in the middle of administering emergency treatment to the old man beside her. Duh! Haijing was flabbergasted. You invited me out for a barbecue, so we're just passing by, said Xie Shui. I saw someone in the distance and thought it looked just like you, so I had him come take a look. It really is you. Oh my God, what's wrong? What's that person next to you? Did something happen? Sijing Chen looked up at his sister. Yu was sitting in the recess of the genuine leather seat, hidden in the darkness on the other side of the vehicle. Those looking in could only make out his calm and elegant profile. His silhouette was especially handsome and refined, but upon closer examination one could almost sense a bestial and depraved aura emanating from the young man. Xie Chen didn't want to inconvenience Heyu, but he didn't have many options. We ran into an ill person. He was emotionally triggered and had a severe heart attack. I gave him some basic treatments, but he needs to go to the emergency room. Xie Shui was stunned. Where's the ambulance? We called, but the road conditions are poor. It'll take 30 more minutes before they arrive. Upon hearing this, Xie Shui immediately opened the car door and jumped out, rushing to the old man's side. She didn't show the slightest disdain towards him, but she had no medical training whatsoever and could only stand by helplessly. She shouted anxiously at the car, Hayu! Hayu! Come out and help! The depraved gentleman stepped out of the car, took one look at the old man's purpling lips, and immediately said, Well, go in my car. Shui, the fool, asked, What will you do if other drivers don't make way for you? I mean, it's still rush hour. I'd like to see 'em try. Yu sneered. He turned to the drivers and asked, Lao Zhao, can you drive smoothly? I can drive smoothly, but I'm used to being careful, so I might not be fast. Besides, young master, even if you told me to crush the car, I wouldn't dare. Then get out. Yu rolled up his sleeves with one long leg stepped out. He got into the driver's seat. He pulled down the handbrake without even glancing at it, chewing his gum. He said, Get in. We'll be at the municipal hospital in what, like 10 minutes. Do you have a driver's license? Ching Ching asked. Nope, replied Yu, expressionless. Are you coming or not? He does. Shishwe was truly fed up with the two of them, especially Yu. Even at a time like this, he was still he was still sparring with her brother. He just finished converting his overseas license to a domestic one. Don't listen to his nonsense. Under Shishi's guidance, they carefully lifted the old man into the Kulinan. After everyone got into the car, Yu fastened his seatbelts. He was about to floor the gas pedal and bring the vehicle to a death-defying speed when the lame little dog darting up and started to bark intensely at the people on the other side of the slowly closing car door. Xie was half-hearted. When she saw the tiny pitiful dog limping behind its master to the car, she couldn't help but say, Poor thing. Yu glanced at her, then the passenger side door opened again. Okay, bring it inside. Xie Shui immediately jumped down to pick up the dirty little yellow dog by its armpits and carried it into the car. The pitiful animal whimpered as if sensing that it hadn't been abandoned. It turned to look at the old man lying on the back seat, then raised its fluffy snout, its black bean nose sniffing gratefully at Shishua's cheek. Then it snuck then it stuck its head over to the driver's seat, giving the young man a carefully lick on the cheek with a damp tongue. Yu ignored the dog's affection. With the press of a button, the rearview mirror returned to its customized position as he gripped his steering wheel with long, slender hands. Call emergency services back and explain our situation. Let's go! A couple of hours later. Thankfully, because the old man had received professional first aid immediately and had been promptly taken to the hospital, he was finally no longer in critical condition after half a night's rescue effort. Outside the emergency care unit patient ward, Xing Chen signed a stack of forms and opened an app on his phone to pay the bill, only to find that he didn't quite have enough money. Just as he was wondering what he should say or to the worker at the service window, and a hand reached out from behind him and passed the credit card through the slot. Jin Chen returned to see He Yu's face. Why are you here? It's fine, He Yu said. No need to thank me. Because the old man was homeless, they couldn't find contact. They couldn't find or contact any of his family members. He also didn't have an ID card on him, so certain administrative procedures were very inconvenient. If it weren't for the fact that Shen Chen had once worked at this municipal hospital and knew the director of the emergency care unit's night shift, they might have caused a bigger issue. Now even even though the old man was no longer in danger, many administrative orders of business needed to be retroactively completed. The hospital even contracted the municipal department in charge of the homeless population for assistance. As for the enthusiastic group of Good Samaritans, Hai Yu and the others also couldn't leave for the time being. After paying the bill, Hai Yu and Xie Xingcheng went out to the garden behind the hospital for some fresh air, and Hai Yu struck up a conversation. That Bai woman, she was your matchmaking date, Hai Yu asked. Mm. Where is she? Resting with Xie Shui in the underground parking lot. Since it was so late, both of them had grown a little sleepy. Xie Shui was worried, so she had me come up to see how you were doing. He Yu then asked, How come you were on a matchmaking date with a girl like that? Chen Xingchen's expression was flat. It's just dinner. Then you should have just rejected the matchmaking outright the way I see it. You weren't taking it seriously either. Plus, isn't she about the same age as Xie Shui? You're already middle-aged. It's not very appropriate. Since Xie Cheng was less tense now, Yu's words irritated him. 32 years old wasn't 32 years old was middle aged? What a nutcase. If it weren't for the fact that He Yu had helped him out today, he definitely would have said, Little devil, it's none of your fucking business. But he had just used He Yu as a driver and then as an ATM, so he had no right to curse him out too viciously. Chen Chen shot him a glance through bloodshot eyes, stiffly enduring the word middle aged, and coldly replied, You're right, young master, I truly don't want to waste my breath on the little kids below the age of 30 anymore. Both of them fell silent. The little kid and the middle-aged man verbally sparred each other tit for tat, but neither of them could get the upper hand. Thus, Chen decided to simply turn away. The wisteria-covered walkway behind the municipal hospital was very long. With his hands in his pockets, Xie Cheng walked silently ahead, his expression flat. 10 years ago, he'd often passed through this way though back then the garden hadn't been fully completed yet. There were even unauthorized stall keepers at the two ends of the pathway, selling Tianjin-style jianbing. The little note here says, thin pancakes wrapped around fried dough sticks of youtiao with a sweet and savory sauce, which is tianmiangjiang. Hopefully I said that right. I apologize yet again. Porridge noodles and rice balls before the city management officer arrived to put an end to the illegal activity. Yeah, no, selling food to people. Arrest that. Arrest that hoe. Now, the garden presented a scenic picture with every step. Later, Chen Chen resigned from his post at the municipal hospital, and in the years that followed, he never walked through the wisteria path again. This literal walk down memory lane reminded him of the past. After a lengthy silence, Chen Chen abruptly spoke up. Hey, little devil. Huh? Do all of you youngsters these days want to become internet celebrities? I'm not interested, but they earn a lot of money, so it's true that there are many who would like to do this. Is that by being an internet celebrity? How do I know? How you grind? I could tell. Then he added, Did the old gentleman's sudden illness have to do with her? The night wind blew past, rustling through the vines. Kinda. He mistook her for his daughter, so Banjin chased after him while he was live streaming, replied Cheng. He was hiding from the camera the whole time, begging her to stop filming, but she refused to listen. She could only see how many people had entered her live stream and how many people wanted to follow her account. After a pause, he asked, "What is the point of all of that?" Yu sighed. Chen, the things you find meaningless are tickets to a whole new life for certain people. You find the way they chase fame and profit bizarre, but in the same vein, they can't understand your way of thinking either. Humans are all the same species, but we're also the ones with the greatest barriers to empathy. We are often incapable of mutual trust, much less mutual understanding. Sometimes when two people look at each other, it's as if they're looking at organisms from an entirely different genus. At this point, Yu's phone suddenly rang. It was his driver. As it turned out, Yu terrorized the streets with his wild driving. The traffic police on patrol had flown into a rage and chased them all the way to the hospital. "Young Master why don't we ask the doctor to explain things to them?" the driver suggested. "There were exhausting circumstances." "It's nothing," replied Yu. "Just let them deduct the points and pay the fines. There's no point in wasting time on this." Hung up. "Is your spare cash burning a hole in your wallet?" "Huh?" asked Cheng. "To me, time is money. I don't like to waste time on unnecessary things like needless explanations to government employees. Who knows? They might even ask a reporter to write some moving story about it." Hayu's almond eyes lowered. His pitch-black pupils appeared so apathetic they seemed to hold a hint of subtle perversity, even as the corners of his mouth curved up in a smile. "I may as well chat a little longer with you. In any case, you can do the same thing they do, right? For example, checking my driver's license?" Chen didn't respond. As the man's expression grew uglier, the teasing mockery in the corners of Helio's mouth slowly diffused into his eyes. With his hands in his pockets, he cast his glance ahead, not at Xi Jinping's face anymore, but rather at a random spot before him. Then he leaned forward slightly, tilting his face toward Xi Jinping's neck. He lowered his head, his thin lips stopping just short of Xi Jinping's carotid artery. Maintaining his position, he gazed into the distance and spoke quietly into the man's ear. "How was my driving?" Chen Cheng answered with silence, his expression growing even cloudier. Why was Yu still holding a grudge against him for asking about his driver's license? Just how petty was this person exactly? Very petty. Very petty. Chen scoffed a little, and with a chilly look, he responded, "Practice some more when you get the chance. If you stop being so hot-headed, young man, you can become a driver after you graduate." He didn't want to waste any more breath on Yu after that, so he brushed away the dangling vines in front of him with a frigid expression and walked on ahead. But Yu? Yeah, he wasn't finished with him yet. Or maybe he'd gotten into the swing of mocking him. He continued his sarcastic questions like a dog with a bone. What the hell? What was that word? Executive share. If I worked as your driver, what kind of car would you have me chauffeur you in? How much would I get paid per month? Xia Chen didn't look back as he answered, A Hong Wong Mini, instead of the tiny electric car model. And then I'll give you a drug prescription. Take it if you want. Get lost if you don't." With his hands in his pockets, Yu stared at his back. He kicked at something with his sneakers. He his his expression perverse as he cursed softly. "A prescription? You sure are something else, Xie Cheng. I'll really need to pay you back for that one. That is the end of chapter. Yeah. That is the end of chapter 7 of Case File Compendium. If you guys don't like my reading, you guys can like, comment, and subscribe. Ivan, this is the funniest chapter I've read up until now because we're finally getting some banter, some excitement. Pero yes, that is the end of chapter 7. So yeah. Also, it's almost my birthday. I hopefully upload this video on time. But right now, it should be the 6th of August. My birthday is on the 7th of August. So, happy birthday to me. Pero yeah, also, I finally reached 100 subscribers, which is crazy. Pero yeah, super, super, super excited for what's coming next in this book. And yeah, happy birthday to me and congratulations to me. That sounded very egocentric, but hopefully it's not. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want. Um, there is an entire playlist if you guys want to see or want to hear the previous chapters, and also any of the following books that I am reading. So yeah, hopefully have a good day, night, wherever you are, however you are, and if your birthday's on August, happy birthday. But other than that, bye 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 bye.